Y'all, Jada Pinkett Smith really had us fooled. Because for years, she's been pushing this whole bonus mom, bestie, tight-knit family narrative with Will's first son, Trey, and acting like they've always been locked in. But Trey just exposed her and called her out for being an evil stepmother. And according to what Trey's been saying behind the scenes, that picture-perfect relationship Jada keeps selling, yeah, it's completely fake. We're talking years of tension, resentment, and Jada lying straight to our faces for years. And it doesn't even stop there. Trey is also making some bold claims that Jada played a role in breaking up his parents' marriage, pushed Will to prioritize her kids over him, and even got in the way of Trey's own career. Meanwhile, she's out here smiling for the cameras like everything's been love this whole time. Trey is done keeping the peace because he just unlocked a whole new level of chaos. So let's get into it. Girl, who could have guessed that while Jada was out here trying to play the perfect stepmother, she and Trey were supposedly actively hating on each other behind the scenes? Over the years, Jada often makes posts that make it seem like she and Trey are besties or something. For example, on his 30th birthday, she made a post that said, "Trey, I can't believe you are 30 and what a stellar 30 you are. My greatest wish for you is that the wings upon your heart continue to help you soar to the heights within your spirit that you are always reaching for. It's been a joy to watch you fly higher and higher and become more free and wise as you go. I love and admire you. Thank you for loving me." In another birthday post, she wrote, "Happy birthday, Trey! I am so glad you were born. You have been an enormous gift to so many of us. Thank you for being a wonderful bonus son and an even more wonderful friend. Thank you for loving me. I adore you." Now, we should have known there was something up because Trey never responded to any of her posts about him. No likes, no comments, it was just crickets from him. And to make things more interesting, Trey has never really spoken on Jada publicly, and from what insiders have claimed over the years, they barely have a relationship. But from the way Jada likes to tell the story, you'd think they were besties permanently joined at the hip or something. She likes to paint them as besties, saying stuff like, "It's great when you can have a close relationship to a child that doesn't necessarily see you as an immediate parent, but has trust in you. Sometimes it's communication that a parent can have with a bonus child. That's difficult for parents to have with their children. There's a different kind of closeness. So Trey is, like, my buddy." However, from the things Trey is saying, Jada just might have been lying to our faces the entire time because they are not besties. Quite the opposite even, because he kind of views her as Cinderella's evil stepmother. And get this, his beef with Jada didn't start out of the blue because he supposedly resents her for breaking up his parents' marriage. People have always suspected that Will cheated on Trey's mom, Cherie, with Jada while they were married, but Jada has constantly denied this.
We did not have an affair.
We did not have an affair.
While he was married.
Nope,
Let's be
not
clear
at all.
about that.
Even if there wasn't a full-blown affair, Jada still played a role in the breakup one way or another. She and Will got close while he was still married, and he already felt like she was the one for him, even though he had a whole wife and kid at home. Over time, he started feeling stuck in that life. It got to a point where he once went out to dinner with Cherie and had to step away to the bathroom just to cry, because deep down, he felt like he was supposed to be with Jada.
Me and Cherie went to dinner, and I sat down with Cherie, and it was one of the most bizarre emotions I ever had after we had that talk, and we were at the Palm. And I remember I had to get up from dinner when I had a realization that I wasn't with the person I was supposed to be. Went in the bathroom at the Palm, and I broke down in tears.
He ended up divorcing Cherie when Trey was only 2 years old. After that, he and Jada got married, but things were messy between them and Cherie at first. There was a lot of tension for years, mostly because Cherie didn't agree with how Will and Jada were raising the kids, including Trey. Their parenting style has always been pretty unconventional, and a lot of people have even called it toxic. I mean, they even admitted to basically letting their kids do whatever they want and raise themselves. In an interview, Will said, "We don't do punishment. The way that we deal with our kids is, they are responsible for their lives. Our concept is, as young as possible, give them as much control over their lives as possible. So when they do things, you can do anything you want as long as you can explain to me why that was the right thing to do for your life." Before Will and Jada got married, Will and Trey were really close. Trey even featured in some of Will's music videos, and they were basically inseparable. But that dynamic started to change once Will married Jada, and they had Jaden and Willow. According to Trey, Jada forced Will to choose his new family over Trey, and eventually, Will gave in. From there, it felt like his attention slowly moved more toward his marriage and the new family he was building. And in the middle of all that, Trey kind of got pushed to the side. Even Will has admitted that, at times, he wasn't as present as he should have been in Trey's early years. For the longest time, Trey was on the outs with Will and his family. But in 2018, Will finally started to make amends with Trey. He posted a video talking about the relationship between him and Trey and captioned it, "It has not always been like this between Trey and I. We struggled for years after my divorce from his mother. He felt betrayed and abandoned. It is a wild blessing to recover and restore a loving relationship with my beautiful son. Admitting that you were a terrible father to your son is wild. And honestly, it's not hard to see why Trey has held a grudge against Jada the whole time. And to make matters worse, he's also out here claiming that the reason his career never really took off is that Jada once again forced Will to prioritize Willow and Jaden's career over his. And when you take a look at where Jaden and Willow are in their careers compared to Trey, it's hard to ignore. I mean, he had Willow hitting the studios and dropping hit songs before she was 10 years old, even though Willow didn't want to go into music that young.
I definitely had to forgive you and Daddy, you know, for that whole with my hair thing. It was mostly Daddy, because he was so, like, harsh at certain times. I always say trust for not feeling like I wasn't listened to or no one cared what I felt during that time.
Because it wasn't that.
Will even had her touring with Justin Bieber as a child. And what's wild is Willow did not want to, but Will wasn't trying to hear all that. And this messed with her mental health big time.
Kind of like just in this gray area of like, who am I? Like, is there, like, do I have a purpose? Like, is there anything like that I can do besides this?
Now, with him forcing Willow to drop music when she didn't want to, you'd think that he would show some support for Trey, who actually wanted to get into the industry, right? Well, wrong. And from what Trey is saying, it's not like Will didn't want to, but Jada was supposedly in his ear forcing him to pay attention to her kids while treating Trey like he was disposable. And like that's not all, it turns out that Trey also has issues with Jada constantly embarrassing their family every 3 business days. And it only got worse with her entanglement with August Alsina. So not only does he have an evil stepmother, but also one who cheated on his father with her own son's friend.
What did you do, Jada?
Well, you know, I think from there, you know, as time went on, I got into a different kind of entanglement with August.
Let's not even get started on how much Jada loved to humiliate Will right in front of the cameras.
To say she has been instrumental in you and I redefining our relationship.
I would say don't just start filming me without asking me
Oh my goodness.
if you could film me.
Astaire, come help us again, please.
I'm still dealing with foolishness.
Because she don't just...
Or the time she admitted that she never wanted to marry Will in the first place, but her mom forced her to.
I really didn't want to get married, but
We only got married because Gammy was crying.
I was
married.
under so much pressure, you know, being a young actress, being
Yeah.
young,
And
I was just
and
like
pregnant.
and I was just like, I didn't know what to do, but I just knew. I was like, I never wanted to be married.
This was probably the last straw for Trey, and honestly, who can blame him? Not only did Jada break up his parents' marriage and force his dad to abandon him, but she also cheated on his dad, who she didn't even want to marry in the first place. Makes us wonder what the entire point of this is. And it's honestly wild that after all this, Jada is still out here trying to convince us that she and Trey are besties. Now, fans can see through her charade, and they left comments saying, just keep Jada and her parenting out of their relationship, and they will be okay. Jaden has been lost and confused for years because at 15, no child should live with no consequences for their actions. Willow did okay in front of the cameras. Thank God Trey has his mother to put a stop to their nonsense when needed. And I can relate to how Trey might have felt. When you're not the child who is in the current family, you know that you're not getting a big chunk of time like the other kids are. In your mind, they spend all their time together, and you are left out in the cold. It may not be necessarily true, but in your mind, it is. But y'all let me know how you feel about this in the comments. Then check out this next video.